One of the most advanced techniques to add depth to your vocal is by using a reverb. But using reverb can easily place the vocal far behind the instruments, damaging all the hard work we achieved with balancing, EQ and compression. Now everybody likes reverb, but it often washes out the mix or even create harshness in vocals. To make sure that doesn't happen, what we need is control. And this simple method I'm about to show you is a proven method used by most Grammy-winning engineers. We have our vocal chain here, and let's place the reverb as the last plugin on the chain. For demonstration purposes, we're gonna use this new Quantum Verb, which is free with the new update of Logic.
Let me see what's underneath ya.
It's actually called Quantec Room Simulator. But hey, doesn't matter, it sounds cool. You can hear it's out of control. For now, let's adjust the reverb time and reverb level, often called the wet knob. This brings the level down.
Let me see what's underneath ya. Show me something that I've never seen.
This gives us some flexibility. However, what if we want to add a delay or another cool plugin after the effect? That means this signal will go into our delay, which will delay the wet signal. But what if we want to delay only the dry signal? And do we actually have to set these up on each vocal track? Well, that would definitely drain our computer. To avoid these problems, the solution is to create an aux and utilize a bus to send our dry signal into this aux. With this move, we can individually control the delay and reverb send in other vocal channels too. Now, this is great, but on this aux channel, we're getting a blended signal that could over-amplify our vocal. For this reason, we need to make sure that this plugin is in full wet mode. We can control the effect with the input gain, which is our bus.
Let me see what's underneath ya. Show me something that I've never seen.
The technique I just showed you solves our routing problem and effectively determines how far or close we want to place the vocal to the listener. The problem is that we need to figure out the size of the space that we want to work in. To do that, we're gonna use the reverb time or decay knob. The longer the reverb time, the bigger the space.
Never been. Let me see what's underneath ya. Show me something that I've never seen.
Now the challenge is, if the reverb doesn't blend in time with the track, it can overlap with subsequent vocal phrases, masking the clarity of the dry vocal. To eliminate this issue, we can quantize the effect. On some plugins you have the option, but if you don't, you can divide 60,000 by your track's BPM to get the quarter note. You can use this number or a multitude of this number, but there are websites to do it too. These numbers help align our echo, however, effectively we want to rely on our ears. In a natural environment, we hear the dry signal first, and then the reverb tail follows. To model this, we use the pre-delay knob to determine when the reflection hits our ears compared to the dry signal. You might have noticed that reverb naturally generates frequencies across the spectrum, including lows, which is a problem we need to solve. Low frequency reverb can clutter the bass region of the mix, making the mix sound muddy and bloated. The bass and kick drum can lose their punch and clarity. High-frequency reverb instead can result in sharp, piercing sounds that can add too much brightness to the mix. For this instance, we can use an EQ with high and low pass filters and even dip certain frequencies.
Let me see what's underneath ya. Show me something that I've never seen.
By the way, we can do this before the signal hits the reverb too. To go even more advanced, we can use Soothe to track and take down the resonant frequencies.
Go places that we've never been.
This technique will help a lot to clear out the mix, but what if we could have an even clearer signal while still keeping that huge reverb tail? One option is automation. Automating the bus so the reverb level stays low during the main vocal phrases, but then boosts in the final phrase to allow for a nice, smooth reverb tail. Automation is good for small parts of the song, but if we want to apply this to the whole song, that can take a long time. Plus, it can further complicate things if we want to go back and make adjustments. The solution for this is a sidechain compressor where we use the dry signal to trigger the compressor. This will attenuate the reverb when the vocal is present but create that nice reverb tail.
Let me see what's underneath ya. Show me something that I've never seen.
Now, this is an awesome technique, but using a reverb essentially pushes the vocal further back in the mix. So what I'm about to show you will not only provide you with clean reverb, but also make the vocal sound wider. We have our delay set up, make sure that it is stereo or ping pong, set to 8 note and fully wet.
Wanna go deeper.
I would add a reverb to this too, and we can apply the settings we applied to the reverb as well. In this case, we dial back the wet signal. Let's copy the sidechain compressor and the EQ, and we can add further effects too.
Go places that we've never been.
Applying these techniques can help create great depth and control in vocal effects. However, to achieve this, we need to focus on controlling the dry vocal first. So watch this video next to learn how to properly control your vocal take, especially if it's a home recording.